Alrighty, guys. So, in this video, we're going to be talking about customer communication when there's IRS notices. Okay, so one of the most stressful parts of tax resolution isn't dealing with the IRS, it's explaining IRS issues to clients without confusing or scaring them. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to use AI to explain IRS issues to clients in minutes without violating Circular 230 and without outsourcing my enrolled agent judgment. If you're new to this channel, my name is Gerardo. I'm an enrolled agent, and you should put these videos in 1.5 speed so that if you can obviously absorb everything still effectively. But disclaimer here is that before we start, I use AI strictly for drafting and organization. I review, verify, and make all the final decisions myself as an enrolled agent, and I'm fully responsible under Circular 230. Okay, AI helps me communicate more clearly, and it does not replace my professional judgment. Okay, so the core problem. The core problem is that most enrolled agents struggle for two reasons. One of two reasons, actually. Number one, they over explain. The client shuts down when they over explain. All right, the client does not want to sit and listen and learn about the tax code and tax law, etc. Okay. Number two is that they under explain. They leave the client in the dark. The client doesn't know what's going on. The client panics, and distrust begins. Right. So again, the client doesn't care about the tax code. The client cares about, am I in danger? Right. What happens next? And are you in control of this as the tax professional looking to you? Right. So this is where AI comes in. AI helps me draft explanations to those to those questions quickly. Okay. Those questions that clients may have, AI is there to answer those questions effectively and nice and succinctly. Right. So, number one is you get a notice, right? So when a client sends me an IRS notice, let's say this is a CP 504 notice. I can bring it up here. Hold on. Oh yeah, this is it. Okay, guys. So this is the notice. This is intent to levy, intent to seize your property, rights, property amount, CP 504 notice. Here are the amounts. We got all of this, and we're gonna be asking AI to digest this for us. Okay, and this is a mock CP 504. As you can see, social security numbers 99999. All of this, interest charges, etc. So all right. So number one is you're gonna get the notice, right? You have the notice downloaded. I don't start by typing emails from scratch when I get a notice. Okay. What I do is I paste the notice into AI and I ask it to do only one thing, right? Organize the issue, not decide it. Okay. I do this by asking for structure. Okay. So I'm gonna ask the AI for structure. Now I'm gonna ask it, what is the IRS notice saying? What are they threatening? And what does the timeline look like? All right. So this is going to give me clarity before I talk to the client. All right. So it's reading the document, plain English breakdown of exactly what the IRS notice CP5 is saying. Here we go, guys. So very easy. Key points right here. 399986. Right. If we look here, we have to make sure that the information 399986 is correct. We as a professional have to go through and make sure this is correct. All right. The AI is there to, yes, make our life easier, but we also have to do our due diligence to make sure that it is populating the correct information. Right. So here's the key points from the notice. You owe almost $4,000 for tax year 2005. Very key, 2005, right? If we can go back here, we can notice that this is actually talking about 2005, tax year 2005. So AI these days is very accurate, guys, but you can still go back. You still have to go back and make sure you're doing your due diligence, make sure that the information is correct. Key points from the notice: tax owed, failure to pay penalties, etc. I'm not going to go through this entirely with you guys, but I'm just letting you know the power of AI and what this does, okay? So once we have this, what is the IRS threatening to do? Immediate threat, very important, right? If you don't pay or respond, we may seize or levy any state tax refunds you're entitled to. You have to make sure this is obviously correct and aligns with tax law, right, in the US. But nonetheless, we have structure. We're not working from a blank page anymore. We have structure, and this is the structure we're going to use to effectively communicate to our client without confusing them and without keeping them in the dark, right? So, all right, guys, here we go. Okay, there was a little technical difficulty, but we're still back onto this video. So, all right, we have this, right? So now we can ask AI, right? We can ask AI to draft an explanation as if we're speaking to a non-tax professional. So, could you draft an explanation as if you were speaking to a non-tax professional? Boom, right? And you can tell it if you would like professional, right? So make it a calm tone, no IRS jargon, clear next steps, and no guarantees, right? Because we don't want to over promise ourselves when we're communicating to a client, right? It's very important because expectations are important to be met, and if you overpromise, then and you can't complete those expectations, that just looks bad on you, right? So let's see AI produce this draft here, right? So absolutely, here's a client friendly explainer, word to word to a non-tax professional in plain English explanation for a client. So here's the letter, right? So I want to walk through this letter calmly so that you understand what it means and what we should do next, right? This letter is basically the IRS saying, we've tried, right? You're already explaining this to the client in very layman's terms. The most important thing for you to understand is what they're warning could happen next. If nothing is done, the IRS says that they can take your state refund if you're owed one, etc. What this letter is really asking for: payment in full, some payment, communication to work out a plan. They're essentially, right? So now we have a draft, right? So now, this is the most important part. I always verify accuracy. I always adjust the tone if I need to. I always remove anything that may be considered speculative, right? That the AI might promote. I make sure that nothing gets overpromised, right? So these are things that I make sure happen so that we don't have any problems in the future, right? AI never sends a message to the client. I send a message to the client. I revise and I make the final decisions, right? This is how we stay compliant and professional within our industry, right? Now, why does this save you time? Because you don't have to come up with all this, right? You don't got to come up with all this. What used to take 20 to 30 minutes now it takes 5 to 10 minutes, right? So this isn't because we as professionals, we care less. This is because now we have structure, right? We're not working from a blank page. Why is communication important with the client? Because this reduces this right here, letting them know what's going on, reduces client panic, right? Reduces them following up with you, following up emails, right? This reduces a bunch of stuff, right? So this alone improves your practice. Now, again, we're not going to let AI give legal advice. We're not going to let it promise outcomes. We're not going to let it talk to the IRS. We're not going to let it interpret facts independently, right? We're not going to let it decide strategy, right? It drafts, I decide, we decide as professionals, right? And this is the best thing about it, right? So if you're an enrolled agent who wants calmer clients and cleaner communication and wants to incorporate workflows, AI workflows into their work so that they can save time, then subscribe. This channel is just about making enrolled agents' work life easier. So, yep.